What I really loved about working with Meadow was that for the first time, we'd done another book together, but really for the first time we were co-creating something. And at the beginning of this project, we weren't sure how it was going to work, mother and daughter. But as we worked, we found that our voice became one voice, and we couldn't tell who'd written what. And we found that, in fact, it brought us closer and closer together. And we love that because the book is about energy. And what we found was that we were co-creating a harmonious energy, and we feel that that's actually can be felt by anyone who reads the book.
I was really excited with the opportunity, or excited by the opportunity to work with my mom on this project. I've helped her throughout the years reading over drafts of her work, but this was really the first time that we worked so
intimately
together in as co-conspirators in a way, co-creators of a project, and it was an amazing experience. At first, as my mom said, we were a little nervous to see at what point the mother-daughter relationship would come into play, but really we really were co-writers throughout, and my dad's been teasing us that I've morphed into my mom. And every daughter's dream. But it's been really wonderful, and it's given me a much deeper appreciation for the work that she's done for so many years, and it's been such a joy to work with my mom.
And it's actually given me a much deeper appreciation for what Meadow does in the kitchen. You know, she has a column in a Seattle paper, a food column, and she writes a food blog, and ever since she was, ever since she was 1 year old, she's been passionate about food.
Yeah, my first memories are of climbing into the cabinet and trying to pull things out to create a dish. That's one of my very first things I remember. It probably didn't taste that great, but it was creative. It was very, very creative, and every memory sense is connected to food in some way.
You know, when you were 1 year old, I can remember this so vividly. David and I, my husband, your dad, we wanted to eat on the floor. And because we like to eat on the floor in front of the fire. And you wanted to eat at the table, and you wanted silverware. You're only 1 year old. What are you doing with silverware? What's wrong with fingers? And you always wanted the food laid out beautifully on your plate. And that was 1 year old, and you have not changed.
My mom's a really fun person to cook for, because if she likes something, she really likes it.
I've got good taste buds.
Yeah, she has amazing palate. And so for her, flavors are much more intense in a lot of ways than it is for other people. She has a very strong sense of smell too, and believe it or not, smell is really closely related to the way that you experience flavor and taste. So if you can smell really well, you can taste really well. And for her, if it's good, she'll let you know. And it's so good though, because she practically moans when she eats, but it really...
not even practically.
But it makes you feel great. And the more that I grew up with that as I was testing different recipes, it encouraged me to keep going, because the more praise, the more moans you get, the more you want to keep doing it. And so I think that really has propelled me on this path, as well as my own love of food. And I love eating well, and the best way to eat well is to make it yourself.
So here's what I love about Meadow. I can drop into her house unannounced, and she'll be sitting down to dinner, and for herself, there's nobody else there. She would have prepared this beautiful 4-course, 5-course meal, and it's beautifully presented, it's beautifully prepared, and she cherishes herself as if she was an honored guest. And I love that. It's so easy to just open the refrigerator, eat something out of the refrigerator, or dump something into a bowl, sit in front of the computer, sit in front of TV. I've never seen her do that. She always prepares these beautiful meals and for herself as that cherished guest, and I love that. you know, when we were thinking about what we wanted for people who read this book, we had this kind of imagination or vision that people would read the book and then they would create, we coined this term legendary meals, that they would create a meal that would be so magical and spirit would be so present that people would remember that meal forever. So that's our dream. That's what we're really intending, that when people read this book, they create a meal that, and it doesn't have to be every meal.
No,
I mean, some meals are.
Some of those ones we've had have been pretty amazing, that when they include the decor and the music and the transformative experience, when the table's set just so, and the smells and the temperature and all six senses are really engaged.
They're phenomenal, and you couldn't really do that every meal, but to even just do it once, to create one legendary meal that the people who are at that meal remember it forever. That's our dream. That's what we're looking for.